Okay, we're today learning Daf Lamed. So at the end of Daf Choftes on the base, we said about eating raw meat. That Rabbi Yosef said that the amount of raw meat to eat, which was sufficient to have it should be effective for an Eruv, is the amount that the whole meal should be from the meat, not to use it as part of as to eat together with the bread. So you have the measurement of the meat is based on that the entire meal is with raw meat and not eaten with bread. So that's what Rabbi Yosef said, and Rabbi asked him. So, Rabbi Yosef explained himself that the basis of his ruling that you measure the meat, the raw meat, you measure it by eating by itself, because not eaten with bread, which is a more stricter view. Because if you eat it with bread, if the meat is eaten with the bread, and that's how you measure it, then the amount of meat which will be eaten will be less, because the main meal will be bread, and that will only be in addition to the bread. So the reason for the stricter view is because the Parsim, the Persians, they eat that as a meal by itself without any bread. That's the way that the Persians eat it. And so therefore, he ruled that the shear is the amount that the entire meal is composed of the meat itself without bread. So Abai asked the question, one second, but why does the halacha follow the Persians? The Persians, are they the roiv olam? Is that the usual way? That's the normal way of everybody? Are they? So if that's the case, since they're not roiv olam, okay, there is a segment in the world that behaves like that. But since they're not roiv olam, so therefore the halacha should not follow a particular segment. It should follow, probably roiv olam should be followed, probably, but certainly not follow a segment. And he brings a proof for that. A proof for that we do not follow to behave a segment of the world population. And what is that? Because Tanan, we learned in the Mishnah, that's the last line of Daf Choftes Amud Beis. We learned in the Mishnah that when our big day aniyim, when are they considered a keli, the material which is a material for a beged. So a beged is considered a keli, and it's mekabel tumah. And what amount of material is considered a beged? So there's a difference. Who is the beged for? Is the beged for Hashirim or the beged is for Aniyim? If the beged is for Aniyim, so then it's considered a beged, even if it has only 3 tfachim. 3 etzbois, sorry. If 3 etzbois is considered a beged. So for Aniyim, 3 etzbois is considered a beged. Material, because it will be used for some part of the beged, and it's choshev enough. And the Aniyim, they do even a small, they don't throw away even a small amount of a beged, and they will use it as the patchwork or something to a beged. So therefore, it's part of a beged, and therefore it's mekabel tumah if it's a beged aniyim. Whereas for Ashirim, if it's 3 etzbois by 3 etzbois, that's something which they junk it, and therefore, but by Ashirim, when it's considered a piece of material, considered a beged, if it's 3 tfachim by 3 tfachim, 3 tfachim by 3 tfachim, that amount is a piece of material which will go into some part of a beged. So therefore, we have 2 shiurim. By the aniyim, the shear for beged is a smaller shear, and it's going to be more strict, and that it's going to be mekabel tumah even if it's only 3 etzbois by 3 etzbois. And by ashirim, if it's that beged, then the material is only considered royal to the kabel tumah if it's 3 etzbois by 3 etzbois. The Mishnah Basnan big aniyim la'aniyim, big ashirim la'ashirim. Avol big ashirim la'aniyim. No, you don't say the halacha since the since the Arneim, which is a segment of the population, they use 3 etzba'os and 3 etzba'os, so therefore that becomes the general measuring measurement for halachic purposes for everybody. Since Vadim, since Vadim, Badem is Chosh, 3 etzba'os and 3 etzba'os, so therefore it's because that is the halacha will base the measurement on this segment of the population for everyone, even for the Asher. And therefore, 3 etzba'os also become. We do not say that. I would beg the Hashem, I'm not just repeating myself. Okay, so what do we see? We see that halacha is not going to be based on something which only a segment of the population use. Will not be those measurements will not the halacha will not be will not follow what is just used by a segment of the population to use that as a halacha for everyone. Okay, so the Gemara says maybe you'll say you might argue that you know what, there we're speaking about l'chumra, that the MS we do go according to the measurement of a segment of the population if it's going to be a chumra. Here, if you by the big day ashirim, if big day. Yes, yeah, but sorry, I don't think I translated the word big day. I didn't translate the Gemara fully. Our big day ashirim la'aniya means you cannot use the measurement for the ashirim, which is a more lenient measurement, which is a measurement of 3 tvachim. That cannot be the yardstick to measure la'aniyim for aniyim. No, for aniyim we will have to go according to for aniyim we'll have to go according to the measurement for aniyim. So we see from over here that the ashirim, which are second, maybe I said the other way, aniyim and second. I should maybe said it before. No, we see from over here the ashirim, which they are a segment of the population. So the measurements which is relevant to the ashirim will not be effective for halacha for everybody, and therefore also the aniyim should their measurements should go according to ashirim. We do not say that aniyim their measurements should go according to the ashirim, and therefore even by 3 etzba'os should not be mekabel tuma. Only by 3 tefachim should be mekabel tuma. We do not say that. It could be that I must have mentioned before. I must have said it the wrong way around, but this is the right way around. That we do not say that the segment which is ashirim should be effective, should become the main halacha. Therefore, aniyim will follow that, and therefore they will be able to not be mekabel tuma till it's only 3 tefachim, which will be more lenient. So we see we don't accept the segment of the population for the entire population. So the Gemara says that maybe chumra. Say that the chumra we do not count. We always follow the chumra. That means that if it's the chumra, we don't count the segment of the population. But if the chumra is to follow the segment of the population, then we do go to chumra. Then we do follow the segment. So therefore, by tuma, if following the ashirim would be a kula, therefore we do not follow that. We do not follow that segment of the population. So we go to chumra. But by Eruvin, if we follow the segment which is the Persians, it'll be a chumra. Means you have to have a bigger share. Then we do follow it. Maybe we do say that. So says we don't say that. Why? But tiny with the Bryce, Rabbi Shimon says, "Ma'arvin l'choyle l'zokin kedei mezoinoi." That we have is the amount of share with the shurim which we have, which we spoke before about different shurim, different foodstuffs. So the Rabbi Shimon says that when it comes to a choyle l'zokin who eats less, so the erev for him is what's for his meal, which is going to be a smaller share. So even though for general population will have a bigger share, for the choyle and zokin they will have a smaller share, the amount which they will eat in 2 meals. Then it says, well, Ravsan, somebody is hungry, who eats a lot, which the shurim are not really sufficient. So the beinu shekol adam. But then we go according to what's the general population. So for the hungry person, we go according to the general population. But let's focus on the choyle and zokin. So the choyle and zokin, we do not go l'chumra and say, you know what, they need to have a big share for an erev like the general population. We said that l'kula before. Yes, we went l'kula to say that concerning the hungry person, you need a bigger share. Say, no, you don't need a bigger share. It's good the general population. But for him, we say l'kula and we give a smaller, the smaller share, what's relevant to him, if that's more lenient. So so you certainly see that by Eruvin, we always go l'kula when it comes to the shur. So therefore, how come that Rabbi Yosef Paskin that we should follow the Persians who eat the meat without the bread, and therefore they need a lot of meat? Zigmar says kasha. Okay, so it's a kasha on Rabbi Yosef, which is no text. Okay. Now the Gemara says, now we're going to question this brisa, because it says that for a big person you follow the regulars. For a big person you follow the regular the midah shekol adam, the midah beinis. That's what you follow. So did Rabbi Shimon say that you should follow midah beinis for a big person? Why? We see Rabbi Shimon says, so if you have a house or something like that, similar, and you have a house and there's a mess inside the house. So if you have a mess inside the house, so not only is the house tomei because of tumas oil, but also the entrances, we consider that the tumah goes out through the entrances, Therefore, it'll be something which will be like an oil or some roof extension, which is over one of the entrances. Some roof extension would be over one of the entrances. So underneath that roof extension will also be tummy. Why? Because the tumah goes out through the entrance, and therefore on top of the entrance is an oil. The top of the entrance is an oil. So therefore, it'll become tumah the area. But so therefore, we need to know which, if they might have a few different windows, entrances, holes, ventilation cavities, whatever it is. So which one does the tumah go out? So it goes out through the Pesach. So what's considered a Pesach? The Pesach is the one from which the person will be taken out. So if we have a few cavities, etc. So what's considered a Pesach is something which is the right size where the person will be taken out. And so therefore, if you have things which are too small for the person to be taken out, you have a small ventilation hole or a hole for light, which is less than dalat fachim, that is not considered a Pesach. And therefore the tumah does not go out through it. It goes out only through the Pesach. So again, what is the shear? The shear is 4 tfachim, because that is the shear which you can take out the person, to take him out, the entrance, the exit, actually, the exit for the Pesach, which is going to serve as an exit for that person, is 4 tfachim. That's the shear. The Shimon says that if there's a big dead person, so if it's a big size, so then the entrance has to be the minimum to be considered an entrance. It has to be the size that you can take him out of, like his size. So we see that we don't go. The halacha is not established according to the general kol adam. In the case of somebody who is bigger, you do not follow the kol adam. So, and by Eruvin, we see it, the Brisa says, Rabbi Shimon says that for a big person, the shear for him for his Eruv is a smaller shear, the shear of Kalam. But it contradicts what we learned in Negea to Tuma, that we look at the individual by somebody who's godly. We don't look at the general population, but at his size. So Rabbi says, Hossam, Heichelevet. I mean, that is no choice. Usually, of course, the Rabbi is answering that we go according to the normal, to what's the shear is established. The halacha takes the shear. For different things according to what's for normal people and not the large person. But in that instance, when we're talking about that the exit for the exit of where you're going to take out the mess, that's considered an entrance, and the reason why it's considered an entrance is because that's where the mess will or might exit. So then that you have to have it the size of the mess. If it's not the size of the mess, it is not just an exit. Since the reasoning is because it's an exit. If it's not an exit, so it wouldn't have made cut him down, but now can take him out. How can 4 tefachim? 4 tefachim is not good enough. He's not going to be taken out. if you'll have to take them out, you probably have to make a new entrance or break this entrance open or something. That's gonna happen. You're not going to cut up the mess. So therefore, if 4 tefachim is in that instance cannot be considered as an exit. Therefore, it's different than usual cases. Okay. Now, so the Gemara says, do Rabbi Shimon ben said that so what's considered an exit for him or entrance, Pesach, what's considered, I mean, the concept is exit, but Pesach, the word Pesach we usually translate as entrance. Yeah. So do the Rabbanan argue on Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar? Do they hold that when they go to the tumah will go out of a Pesach, which is 4 tefachim, even if it's a very big person there? Or do they agree with him that for a very big person, if the dead person is a very big person, then only those which is bigger than 4, which is the size, weight, which is bigger than 4 tefachim, only those which are fit for the person to be taken out, only those are considered exits. So do they argue Shimon ben Elazar or no? Toshman, so we have Rabbi Yochanan, he told us that the Igman Chabashin has the standard exit measurement, which is 4 tefachim. 4 tefachim by 4 tefachim. Height 4 tefachim and width 4 tefachim. So we see that the Rabbanan obviously argue on Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, and that's why Rabbi Yochanan says that, and that we go by the halacha accepts that the measurement, the basis for halacha is on the general population measurements. So Sigmar says no, it's no raya. Why? Hossam, the case of Rabbi Yochanan is talking about when there are no doors of sufficient size. So he's talking about a case. If you have doors of sufficient size, so then the doors which are the doors of sufficient size, then the doors which are large enough for the dead person to be taken out, they are the ones which will be considered as doors. Only those ones would be large enough to be considered as doors, and not the small ones. But the Rabbi Yochanan is talking about a case when there are no doors which fit the size, so there's no exit. So basically, in order to take out the mess, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to break open one of the psachim. You probably won't break open a wall, but probably, you can do whatever you like, right? But the regular way to do it would not be to break one of the, to increase the size of one of these exits, and so to increase size, and therefore, since that is considered normally, that's when we go called the normal measurement. We say, but normally this is considered an exit or an entrance. Since the probability is that the person who, when before taking out the mess, he will increase the size of the regular entrance to make it. He won't take one of these small holes which are not really an entrance. He'll take something which is an entrance anyway and just increase the size in order to be able to pick up that person. So that's why we follow the Dalet Tvachim, because it's only in a situation where you don't have a really good entrance. And anyway, you have to adjust the entrance. Okay, inside. The Hasan the Ikar B'Sachim Kanim Tuva. There's many small doors, small entrances. And there's one which is 4. Is the Vadai Kikar Marva Bahukamar. Which one is going to extend a bit and in order to be to use that to take out that person? For sure, the one which is already a normal entrance size will just adjust. Okay, fine. That's the end of that. They said, you can use raw meat for an Eruv. The beitzim chayes with the raw eggs, you can also use it for the Eruv. The kama, how much is the share of raw eggs? Sinai is Rabbi Yosef. The race is Sinai because he was Boki. So it's called Sinai. Stein, it says 2 eggs. And somebody made a nether. He's not going to eat food. Mutter, so that's the mission. He said mutter b'mayim melech. He says not going to eat mozen, which I guess we translate as food now. So is allowed to. The nether is not effective on water and salt, and that's not considered food or nourishment, and therefore you're permitted to drink it. So Gemara says, let's see this Mishnah. So what do we see? Melech hamayim l'ikram. Salt and water is not considered mozen. Hakol Mili, all other things. Ikri Mosin is called Mosin. That it seems to the mission. And Noidim in Mosin. And only mentions that you permitted in water and salt. So Leimet have to Rabbi Shmuel. So it's a question against Rabbi Shmuel. Why? Because all food besides salt and water are called mazon. And the Rabbi Shmuel, the Amit Havai, they both say, "Ein mevarkin b'yir min mazonis, don't make the bracha b'yir min mazonis, which is mazon. Elo al chameshes hamin bilbad, only on the five grains." And so you see, mazon is only the five grains. So how come when he makes a neder and a mazon, all other foods are awesome? It's a steer to Rabbi Shmuel. So the Gemara says, what you saw in his Paul? The loy asvinu chad is in that. Whether not Ogishlag, there was a question against them, and the Emes was a question against it. Therefore, we rule takanot like Rabbi Shmuel. So there were so also what are you so in his Paul? There's a kasha against Rabbi Shmuel. It was rejected anyway. The ruling. So the Gemara says, "Leimet tevet yufte nam." So now the question is, if that's the case, there should be a question over here as well. And by the way, when we reject Rabbi Shmuel over there, it's minor adjustment. We add rice or something. That's what we add over there. It's not this kasha would just wipe out completely the whole concept of it's everything we consider Muslim. It's a much wider rejection over here. So that's why the Gemara is saying it's not even though rejected, but to so totally reject. Should we say it? That's the question. Should we totally reject it? That from this Mishnah, or the kids Amar Rav Huna said, yes, absolutely. For here, from this Mishnah, there's no rejection against Rav Shmuel. Maybe some adjustment you'll have to make to Rav Shmuel from somewhere else, but not from over here. Here's the B'chal Shushan. Amar Rav Huna, Imer Kol Hazon Olai, Mayim Melech Lezayni. Sorry. Imer Kol Hazon Olai, Mayim Melech Lezayni. Kol Mil Lezayni. Okay. So now we're differentiating between the two terms. There's a term which is called mozain and hazon, even though the Mishnah said mozain. So Rabbi Huna says that you should be curious in the Mishnah, I guess. If he said kol hazon alai, hanoidim and mozain doesn't mean he said the neder mozain. He said the neder is a hazon. Kol hazon alai. Anything which nourishes is So mozain is obviously considered fulsome nourishment, I would say. Maybe to define it like this. The word mozain, let's define as fulsome nourishment, and the zon is nourishment. So if he said mozain is fulsome nourishment. Fulsome nourishment is only for the 5 grains, maybe another one of the things. But this Mishnah, we should be change the girsa or understand the pshat that if he said the neder in a lashon kol hazon, anything which nourishes. So then anything nourishes. So Maya Melech, they don't nourish at all, even though they are necessary for life, but they don't really satisfy the person at all in any way. We've got to sort of nuance the translation of what nourishment means. So yes, it's about some sort of water. It's water and salt. They don't bring any. They don't satiate in any way. So that is the intention. Okay. So the Gemara says, what you're saying that all other foodstuffs they do satiate, they do consider the nourishing, and they satiate. Omar Rabbi Babachon, he said, we would go after Rabbi Yechon Lamechel period, the Gneser, that's just sweet potatoes next to the Kineres. So we'd go to eat the fruits. So they would go and take the fruits, and they would bring some fruits to Rabbi Yechanan. So when they went to Skavavina B'Meya, I said if it was 100 of us Talmidim, so if 100 students, and we would go to take the fruits. So we would bring some for Rabbi Yechanan, have a maktina, kol chad v'chad asor asor, kol chad v'chad asor asor. So each one student would bring back 10 of those fruits. Kavina be'asora. If there'd only 10 of us, of the students who were going to pick the fruits, so each student would take 100 fruits for Rabbi Yechon. Okay, so because you end up with 1,000 fruits, right? So, one way or the other. So the Chol Meir Menayu says each 100 fruits with the quite largest fruits. Lo have a massive a container of 3 saw, which is probably about I don't know, like 20 something, 25, 26, not sure that. So if somebody would have like 25, 26 liters, so a container of 20, so 100 would not fit into a container of 25, sorry, 27 actually, about 27 liters. So 27 liter container approximately would not be able to take 100. So you end up with 10 with 10 containers of 27 liters, and it's not really sufficient. That's how much you end up. It's a huge amount. The kids we have a ochelulu cooler, and Rabbi Yechanan, we bring it to him, and he would eat it all up. Now, after eating all that, the Omer, he says, "Shua sana, like a shua, lost shua. I didn't have anything nourishing. He was still so starving. The loy time is unit. So he's not been. He didn't have anything nourishing. So you see that that the other foods are also not nourishing. You see, potatoes k'neisa. He ate loads of them, and it's not nourishing. So the Gemara says, Rabbi Yechanan didn't say it didn't have anything nourishing. It wasn't fulsome nourishment. It wasn't fulsome nourishment. So he ate it, and he did fill himself up with it, but the pears are not really fulsome nourishment, I guess. If you fill yourself up with it, and you'll get hungry very quickly, or whatever it is. So it's not considered mezoina. So it says even though he ate a load of this, still it wasn't considered fulsome nourishment. Okay. Next piece of glass. Omar Rav Huna Omar Rav. Shvua shelo eichel kikar zu. If somebody makes a shvua that he won't eat from this kikar, ma'arvin leibo. So then you can still use that kicker for an erev. Why? Because even though he can't eat it, but other people. So we've had this leniency before that even though this particular person cannot use it for erev, this is a leniency in the din of erev, etc. That even he can't not eat it. But since it's food for other people, so that's if it's food for other people, that's kosher enough to considered to be effective as an erev kumin for him, for this person, even though he's not going to eat for him. But personally, it's not really food. Okay. Now, so therefore, if a person made a shua he won't eat, yeah, he can use it for him. Kikazu a lie. If he said a lie, if he says a lie, then it means he's also ba'anoah. Now, if it's also ba'anoah, so how can you use it for an erev? You haven't got no, you're making an erev from it. Since you haven't got no, you're making an erev. So you're not allowed to use it. So if he said kikazu a lie, not just didn't mention particular eating, just a lie, it's also, which covers everything, which covers also hanoah, all hanoahs. It covers all hanoahs. If it covers all hanoahs, no. So you can't use it for an erev because that's an hanoah. So as Gemara says, ask a question. If somebody takes a nether that he won't have a hanoah from the kicker, you don't make it for an erev. My love. So the Mishnah says you don't have a noah. If it said, sorry, it doesn't say any details. Yeah, it doesn't say any details. It says he makes a nether from the kicker. You use it for an erev. My love. So is it not talking about? I guess in all cases, the Omer a lie. That even if it said a lie, even if it made the nether, it's general. So probably speaking about even that it said a lie, still you can use it. So you see, even though you say a lie, and there's Isser or not, you can still use it. Even though it's Isser or not, you can still use it for the erev. Even though you're not allowed to benefit. But for erev, you're allowed to, as we just mentioned it later. Maybe I'll say it right now. I'll say it a bit later. So the Gemara says like the Omar Zu. The Gemara says that this is the Mishnah is talking about a case where he said Zu. He means to say the Gemara means to say he said Shaloi Oichol Zu, not Zu. It's Oichol. I want to mention about eating. That's also the Svara. This Brian is speaking about when he mentioned eating. The Ketani says Sefer Aim say when is this? Is Masha Amar Shvua Shaloi Etamenu. When he says the shvua, he made a shvua that I won't taste it. So you see from the continuation of the brisa that is speaking about. He mentioned that he's not going to eat it. But I will. That is right. So the Gemara asks, 1 second. Are you trying to tell me that if you say a lie, which includes anoah, then he cannot use it for an erev, right? Because the Mishnah, like you said, the Mishnah gives an example. The Gemara says Amasai. And it says that when he's mentioned eating, so therefore, if it did not mention eating, therefore includes everything, even then you are not permitted Aval Omar Mai, is that we telling me? So what's that? How does that fit in with the end part of the brisa? The Tony Kikuz Hegdish, the Hegdish Ema the end part of the brisa says if a person made the kicker Hegdish, you cannot use it for an error. If you're so you can't make an error with Hegdish. Hegdish, you're not permitted to use it for Hegdish. Yes, can be considered as Me'ilah or whatever. So therefore, you're not allowed to have an off from Hegdish. So therefore, since you're not allowed to have an off from Hegdish, you can't use it for an error. So why? So this say for the Mishnah, lifting this of the day. Why does the Mishnah have to go and pick a totally different scenario to say that it's not fit for error? Lifting this is a day that the concept he could have skilled the concept much closer to the original concept as then, and that if it's also bano, you cannot use it for an error because you said instead of bringing a hegdish, which is a different, totally different. When he said zu, which means eating, a lie. But if he said a lie, which includes Isra Hana, once you get Isra Hana, which you can't use it for an error. So therefore, from the Sefer, so from the Reisha, it seems to be that a lie cannot. If a person says a lie, which also you cannot use for an error. From the Sefer, it seems if you say a lie, then you can use it for an error. It's only when you say Hegdish. There's a difference. Hegdish is also lano for everyone. It's everyone. A lie is not also lano for everyone. So it's different. So the kids we have a contradiction from the ratio of the Sefer, from the inference of the ratio to the inference of the Sefer. So Omlach Rav Huna Elamai Kol Echad Elamai. Sorry, that's the Gemara actually mentions that Omlach Rav Huna Elamai. So what are you trying to say? Kol Echad Omar Alai Ma'arvin. So what do you say? So you are trying to say that from the Sefer we see that you can use for an Erev. So Kasher ratio, the ratio. So the ratio is going to be difficult. The kids win this dilemma. So what is the solution? The solution is this is how we have to learn the shot the brisa. Now the must say there's a bit missing in the brisa in order the inferences should not contradict. Well, that's what it says. If somebody makes a nether from a kicker, you can use it for an erev. I feel Omar a lie, and even if he said a lie, you can. Which includes Hana as well, you can still use it. Because it's Nasa, it becomes it's as if he said, I won't eat it. It has the same halacha. If the person said that the person said he won't have a lie, which includes Isser Hana, it's as if he made the Isser of Loy Etameno. Yeah. And it's only something which is totally different, like Hegdish. That is not fit for Hana. That is not fit for an Erev. And just let me give the reasoning. The reasoning is why, if it's Osbana, how can you use for an Erev? The answer is because, this is in Rashi, the end of the Rashi, and that is because you only do an Erev, you're only supposed to make an Erev for mitzvah, for you want to go share somewhere, or respect, or be makabel from a rabbi, or whatever, something to do with a mitzvah. So you only make an Erev if it's for the purposes of a mitzvah. Since the purpose of a mitzvah, so mitzvah is not the honest. Therefore, since it's not the honest, so therefore you are permitted to make an error, because since you're doing the error for a mitzvah, so the hana which you're getting, they're able to walk, it's not considered hana because you're doing it for the purpose of mitzvah. And I suppose that the two opinions which we have in this Gemara is whether this making an error would fit into the gather of mitzvah honest, because you want to go there. And so, does it fit into mitzvah or not? That seems to be the basis of the two opinions up here. Okay. Anyway, so in this brisa it says that I feel and right. So the Gemara says okay, fine. So we know the brisa. We figured out pshat in the brisa. What's the most likely pshat in the brisa? It's all been done. And that what it was say from the Bryce, it says that if you said a lie, then you're allowed to use paneir. What about Avuna? He says you're not allowed to use paneir. So it says, it doesn't matter. The who the Omakir Blazer, he's also the Blazer. It says, if you made the sure that you're not going to eat it, then you can use for Erev. Kikers or a lie, which includes Hano, fine. So we have the opinion of Blazer, which is exactly like the opinion of Rabbi. The Gemara asks a question, who me, Omar Rabbi Hochi? But Rabbi ever say such things? We see that Rabbi said differently. Because what the price of said now, what the Tanya, what the price is. If a person says he won't eat something, then you can use it for an Erev. If food, if he says he won't eat it, or maybe he won't have Ano as well, that. But certainly, yeah. It's if the language of the language of the nether was that he won't he won't use that thing. If he says if he won't use that thing, if that's language, if he won't use it, then you can use an Erev. You can use it for an Erev. But if he uses a different language, not that he won't use it, it's that it says that the chayfetz is also on him, or I won't have a noah from this chayfetz, so it becomes also on him. Not what he won't do is that Rashi says going to osralai as han oichal neser min adam going kikar zu to osralai should become osra me, or that I won't have a noah, not that I won't. I shouldn't have a noah. I think it's sorry. I think if it says he won't eat something that he'll do, but hanoah, which is hanoah, is the hanoah over here is a mimela dik hanoah, so it's not something that he's actually using it. It's the hanoah is mimela from the Erev. So since hanoah is mimela from the Erev, because you don't directly have hanoah, so to speak, from the Erev itself, where you do it, you drink it or eat it, or you put it on your skin, or something like that, or you sell it. And you're not doing that. It's a male dekana. So if he's used language that he won't do something, then it becomes you can use it for an Erev, because that's not a direct. It's a male dekana. And but if it's other, if it's a hanesaloi, it becomes also that not that he won't do, then it's Eimar. Lezer says kikr zu alai ma'arvin. If he said kikr zu alai, you can use it for an Erev. If the person said kikr zu alai, which is also nesa leila odom, so even though you can use it for an Erev. So what do we see? We actually have a machlekes over here. Reb Shimon Elazar, he said kikr zu alai, you can use it for an Erev, opposite of what Reb Shimon Elazar said before. And Tanakama actually says that you can, but you cannot use it for an Erev. But anyway, but Reb Elazar says that you can use it for an Erev. So he said there's a steer of Reb Elazar. Kikazu Hegdish, Aim Arvin. He said Kikazu Hegdish, you cannot use that. So the Gemara answers, Trey Tanoya, Alibe, Dreblazer. There's two Tanoim, Alibe, Dreblazer. And so therefore, according to one Tana, so one fits in with one Tanoim, Dreblazer.